The first mega fight in boxing history where you have two bad guys. You have the potential for both fighters in a super fight being booed into the ring. It's never happened before. And it's probably going to happen on April 26th. This will be the first time he's in there with a genuinely dangerous man. How's he going to deal with it?
On the flip side, Chris Eubank Jr. isn't just confident. He's outright dismissive. He's treating Conor Benn like an inexperienced fighter wading into deep waters without a life jacket. Eubank isn't bothering with intricate game plans or analyzing Benn's technique, because in his eyes, Benn doesn't even warrant the effort. He scoffs at the talk of Benn's power, calling it overblown hype fueled by hopeful fans grasping at straws. To Eubank, this won't be a battle. It'll be a masterclass. A one-sided lesson in the art of boxing where Benn gets outclassed, embarrassed, and stripped bare under the spotlight. In truth, Eubank believes Benn already lost the moment he agreed to the fight. This isn't a contest. It's an execution packaged as primetime entertainment.
Focused on the amount of people that will be there. I'm not focused on the scale of this event. I'm not focused on the hype around this fight. All of that is really irrelevant. What's important is...
On the flip side, Chris Eubank Jr. goes nuclear, tearing apart the carefully crafted narrative shielding Conor Benn. He doesn't just bring up the failed drug tests. He calls them a betrayal of everything boxing stands for. For Eubank, this fight isn't just about two men. It's about reclaiming the integrity of a sport tarnished by scandal. What stings even more? Eubank is furious that despite doing things the right way, staying clean, making sacrifices, never cutting corners, he's still painted as the villain. Meanwhile, Benn, the man who failed drug tests, is being welcomed back like a returning hero. That begs the question, has boxing completely lost its moral compass? Eubank isn't stepping into the ring just to win. He's stepping in to send a message. To punish a system that glorifies rule breakers and punishes those who play by the book. This isn't just a rivalry. It's a reckoning. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like the video.
Just the walk, let alone the fight part. It takes a lot of mental strength. It takes a lot of guts, a lot of heart. You know, mental strength, it's a huge thing in boxing.
It's a big thing in life, even outside of boxing, right? In business and in all, I think, great endeavors. Do you think it's something that you can, from what you've seen in the gym, something you can teach or train?
Chris Eubank Jr. goes nuclear, dismantling the entire narrative shielding Conor Benn and pulling no punches. He doesn't just mention the failed drug tests. He calls them a betrayal of boxing's very soul. For Eubank, this fight has evolved beyond a personal grudge. It's about restoring honor to a sport that's been tainted by scandal. What enrages him even more is the hypocrisy. Despite doing everything the hard way, staying clean, sacrificing, and never cutting corners, he's still labeled the villain, while Benn, the man who failed drug tests, is being welcomed back like a hero. It raises a hard question. Has boxing lost its moral compass? Eubank isn't just fighting Benn. He's fighting a broken system, and he's doing it not just to win, but to send a brutal message. This isn't a rivalry. It's a reckoning. Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like the video.
Yeah, I think the difficulty for Conor Benn in this fight is the weight and is the size. I think he's a better fighter. And I think at a natural weight class, he's a big favourite in the fight. But coming up 2 weight classes, it makes it a 50-50 fight. And you ain't going to blink.
Tony Sims knows exactly what's at stake here. The emotional weight of this war has been building for over 2 years. And now, it's set to erupt on boxing's biggest stage. Behind the scenes, Conor Benn has been evolving into something far more dangerous than the fighter fans remember. According to Sims, Benn isn't just ready. He's transformed, both physically and mentally, into a more ruthless, calculated version of himself. But this clash isn't just about 2 fighters. It's a legacy feud, soaked in pride, pain, and decades of unfinished business. The looming presence of Nigel Benn and Chris Eubank Sr. casts a massive shadow over the bout, adding pressure that most would crumble under. What's more, both sons are expected to enter the ring at their absolute peak, not just to win, but to carve out a statement that will echo through generations. This is more than a fight. It's a collision of bloodlines, a battle of egos, and a test of identity. When the bell rings, it won't just be pride on the line. It'll be redemption, legacy, and the right to carry a name into history.
Ben, I think he's great value. I think he's like the perfect guy to build such a big fight, and Chris just winds him up. And yeah, I honestly, I would say if I was, but I would say a 3.
Yeah,
in terms
I
of
believe that. I mean, you could easily bullshit you.
On the flip side, Tony Bellew isn't pulling any punches. He's throwing his full support behind Conor Benn, fueling the flames of this rivalry with raw, unfiltered passion. To Bellew, Benn isn't just a talented fighter. He's a battle-hardened warrior, forged in fire long before he ever turned pro. But the moment Chris Eubank Jr.'s name comes up, Bellew's tone turns sharp and cold. There's no respect, only disdain. He sees Eubank not as charismatic, but as calculated and arrogant. To Bellew, Eubank's press conference theatrics aren't bold statements. They're ego-fueled performances for the cameras. In Bellew's eyes, Eubank isn't fighting for legacy. He's chasing the spotlight. Meanwhile, Bellew's connection to Benn runs deep. It's not just a professional alliance. It's personal, like watching a brother step into war. At the end of the day, this fight is more than just a rivalry. It's a collision between respect and reputation. And Bellew has made one thing crystal clear. His loyalty lies with Benn, and he's not hiding it.
Conor's his dad's son, and his dad's exactly the same. And the Eubanks and the Benns, they know each other's strengths and weaknesses, and so there'll always be that family rivalry going on. And Chris's aloof personality, riles Conor, like his dad did, with their dads did. So he knows exactly what.
Meanwhile, Don Charles doesn't hold back when breaking down the fight. Though he tries to frame it as a 50-50 matchup, the reality speaks for itself. Chris Eubank Jr. is operating on an entirely different level. All the talk about age and weight? Just noise to distract from the truth. Eubank's experience, size, and ring IQ are miles ahead of Conor Benn's. Charles knows it, even if you won't say it outright. He might throw a few subtle jabs at Eubank's lifestyle, but when it comes down to the fight, Charles is clear. Youth and aggression mean nothing without control. In a high-stakes clash like this, it's the smarter, more seasoned fighter who has the edge. He sees Benn's style as reckless, driven more by emotion and legacy than skill. And that's exactly what he believes Eubank will exploit. Make no mistake, Don Charles is confident that when the bell rings, Eubank will pick Benn apart with surgical precision, exposing his flaws and leaving him looking like an amateur in comparison.
I only see one side, but I wasn't expecting him to be as strong as he was. And for someone so little, he does pack a punch. And I was intrigued, I was quite shocked by that. I thought I could potentially just bully him because being 2-3, probably like three, maybe 4 weight classes above him, I just thought I'd be a bit too big. But yeah, he's very, very good. And I'm quite intrigued to see that fight.
Anthony Joshua just poured gasoline on the fire, throwing his full support behind Chris Eubank Jr. after witnessing his brutal training sessions firsthand. But he didn't stop at praise. Joshua went straight for the jugular, openly dismissing Conor Benn and making it clear he doesn't believe Benn even belongs in the same league. What really caught Joshua's attention was Eubank's laser focus and relentless work ethic, a clear signal that he's fully locked in and ready for war. In stark contrast, Benn was painted as undisciplined and distracted, more caught up in the hype than the hard grind. This isn't just casual support, it's a brutal endorsement. Joshua's backing of Eubank sends shockwaves through the fight world, shifting the spotlight and raising serious questions about whether Benn is truly ready for what's coming. The message is loud and clear. The stage is set, and the storm is coming.
A bit stronger. He can punch Conor anyway. You know what I mean? He's always had a dig on him. I think he might get that from the old man, but he's improved a lot, Conor, and he can dig. So I think that would be a surprise for Eubank because he's quite very explosive. Conor is, you know what I mean? He's very, especially when he comes out of blocks, he's dangerous. You know what I mean? So
Frank Warren didn't hold back when it came to Chris Eubank Jr. He outright called him a prick, delivering a scathing critique of Eubank's personality with zero hesitation. When pressed to clarify, Warren doubled down, making it clear he has no time for the way Eubank carries himself, especially in the public eye. This wasn't a debate about boxing technique. It was a full-on clash of egos. Warren's explosive comments only added fuel to an already volatile buildup, amplifying the tension surrounding the fight. Eubank's cocky, brash persona has long made him a polarizing figure, but with Warren publicly tearing into him, the animosity has reached new heights. What was once a professional rivalry between Eubank and Conor Benn has now erupted into a deeply personal war. It's no longer just about boxing. It's about pride, reputation, and making sure the other man walks away defeated in every sense. With each jab, verbal or physical, the pressure builds, and the fight is shaping up to be a powder keg of ego, emotion, and explosive power.
Does he retire if Ben beats him? Can you see where that thought process comes from? Obviously Conor stepping up 2 weights, the amount of bad blood there's been.
Yeah, maybe then you just don't know. Maybe where does he go from there if Conor beats him? I'm not trying to say Conor's any less of him, but yeah, Chris is obviously the guy who should beat him because he's a lot heavier, maybe more seasoned, but it's definitely a 50-50 fight in my eyes. I think Conor's going to beat him. So yeah, you can see where that thought process comes from. But who knows? I know Chris likes to play poker a lot, so maybe comes back for the money.